1855, chapter 18, text 55. Okay, sorry, can you pass my books? It's on the table. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. That's good. Text 55. Hare Krishna, okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Antaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Sri Prabhupada ki, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're going to Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 18, conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. Commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhaktyam mam abhijananti yavan yasmi tattvataha tato mam tattato gyatva viseted anantaram Bhaktyam mam abhijananti yavan yasmi tattvataha Tato mam tattato gyatva viseted anantaram bhaktyam mam vijanati yavanyasam tattvataha tato mam tattato gyatva viseted anantaram. Anyone want to try? Bhaktyam mam abhijanati yavan yasmi tattvataha tato mam tattato gyatva visated anantaram. Okay. No. You want to try? Anyone? No? Okay. You want to try? You want to try? Try? Bhaktyam mam vijanati yavan yasmati tattvataha tattvato gyatva visated anantaram. Very good. Anyone else? Okay, I'll do the word for word. Bhaktya, by pure devotion service, mam, me, abhijananti, one can know, yavan, as much as, ya, yacha asmi, as I am, tattvataha, in truth, tata, thereafter, mam, me, tattvataha, in truth, tattva, knowing, visad, he enters, tad anantaram, thereafter. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. One can understand me as I am as a Supreme Personality of Godhead only by devotional service, and when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So you can repeat after me. One can understand me as I am as the Supreme Personality of Godhead only by devotional service. When one is in such full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Srila Prabhupada's purport. It's quite a long purport, but we'll summarize it. Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and his primary expressions cannot be understood by mental speculation, nor by the non-devotees. If anyone wants to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has to take to the pure devotion service and the guidance of a pure devotee. Otherwise, the truth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead will always be hidden. As already stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.25, Neham Prakasha Sarvasha, he is not revealed to everyone. No one can understand God simply by erudite scholarship or mental speculation. Only one who has actually engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service can understand what Krishna is. University degrees are not helpful. One who is fully conversant with the Krishna science becomes eligible to enter into the spiritual kingdom, the abode of Krishna. Becoming Brahman does not mean that one loses identity. The devotional service is there, and as long as devotional service exists, there must be God, the devotee, and the process of devotional service. Such knowledge is never vanquished, even after liberation. Liberation involves getting free from the concept of material life. In spiritual life, the same distinction is there. The same individuality is there, but in pure Krishna consciousness. Okay, I'll break the purport down. It's quite a long purport. So, he can be quite difficult, causing disturbance. You can take him next to otherwise. This verse first of all emphasizes to be always conscious of Krishna. In the material world, so many things are offering shelter, but everyone feels this shelter is not safe and is not pleasing. Trying to find identity elsewhere, but we're originally part of Krishna. Karma, way, not spiritual existence. Jnana, austerity, very troublesome. Taking shelter of bhakti directs spiritual existence, joyful nature. So this is by Bhaktivedanta Manor. He gave a class. I'm just summarizing the points. Spiritual practice is meant to uplift consciousness, purify the heart, and develop good qualities. Material existence of life is very dull, like touch things glow. the dull things like touch through glows. So we can see with karma, one gets very passionate about his activities. You can see in modern society, people are into industry, they're into factories, modern technology. A lot of passion is there. And this is because of karma. People want to enjoy the fruits of their activities. So karma doesn't purify the heart. It doesn't purify. It just creates passion. So the way to come to the pure stage is to do karma yoga. So karma yoga is you do your work, but you offer your profit to Krishna. And like this, if one does, in time he'll become purified to the way he can surrender to Krishna fully. So karma yoga is the beginning of bhakti yoga. And Srila Prabhupada emphasized in his book, Renunciation to Wisdom, he was saying, if all the factory workers, if factory owners, they make arrangement to offer food to Krishna and give it to their workers, in this way even the workers will get purified, and in time they'll become devotees of Krishna. So there's different levels on the line of coming to the line of pure bhakti. So the first platform is some sakam kama, where one is attached to the fruits. So in that stage, one works, but he gives a profit to Krishna. And in this way, he tries to serve the devotees who are serving Krishna. Like this, one comes to nishkam kama, where one is not attached to the fruits of his activities, and gradually, by doing this, one comes to pure devotional service. So, so there is different levels of people in society. Krishna could have said in Bhagavad Gita that, which he quotes at the end of Bhagavad Gita, that give up all varieties of religion, surrender to me, I'll free you from all sinful reactions. But Krishna didn't say that in the beginning, because there's different classes of people who are on different levels. And Krishna wanted to bring all classes of people to surrender to him. So he explained different levels of yoga, how to people can come to the pure platform. So with the jnana yoga, it doesn't purify the emotions. It locks up the emotions. Example I can give you of is Schopenhauer. He was a German philosopher, and he used to study in his room all day, philosophy and science. He used to study. And one lady, she was looking into the keyhole what he was doing. He was living in a flat on the top floor or something. And one day he couldn't control his emotions, and he came out and he pushed her down the stairs. And the court ruled that he would have to look after her all his life. So because he was too much into jnana, his emotions were not purified. And he wrote in his book, "The bitch is dead now." So that shows how the jnana marg doesn't purify emotions. Ramanujacharya, he comments that we have to connect our emotions to serving Krishna and the devotees. Then our emotions become purified, where we understand our true identity as we are not the body, and there's a higher world than this world. So uh, and in the time of Lord Chaitanya, when he was appeared 500 years back, 520 years back, he was he had to deal with many of these people who were into Gyan, and Lord Chaitanya's in the purport, Prabhupada explains further down. We can read the purport further down. One who is fully conversant with the Krishna science becomes eligible to enter the spiritual kingdom, the abode of Krishna. Becoming Brahman does not mean that one loses his identity. Devotional service is there, and as long as devotional service exists, there must be God, the devotee, and the process of devotional service. Such knowledge is never vanquished, even after liberation. Liberation involves getting free from the concept of material life. In spiritual life, the same distinction is there, the same individuality is there in pure Krishna consciousness. One should not mistakenly think that the word Visata enters into me, supports the monist theory that one becomes harmoniously with the impersonal Brahman. No, Visata means that one can enter into the abode of the Supreme Lord in one's spiritual individuality to engage in his association and render service unto him. For instance, a green bird enters into a green tree, not to become one with the tree, but to enjoy the fruits of the tree. Impersonalists generally give the example of a river flowing into an ocean and merging. This may be a source of happiness for the impersonalist, but the personalist keeps his personal individuality like aquatic in the ocean. We find so many living entities within the ocean. If we go deep, surface acquaintance with the ocean is not sufficient. One must have complete knowledge of aquatics living in the ocean depths. Because of his pure devotional service, a devotee can understand the transcendental qualities and the opulence of the Supreme Lord in truth. As it is stated in the 11th chapter, only by devotional service can one understand. The same is confirmed here. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotional service and enter into His kingdom. After attainment of the Brahma Bhuta stage of freedom from material, no talking, Bhagavad Gita class. Yeah? After attainment of the Brahma Bhuta stage of freedom from material conception, devotional service begins by one's hearing about the Lord. When one hears about the Supreme Lord, automatically the Brahma Bhuta stage develops and material contamination, greediness, and lust for sense enjoyment disappears. As lust and desires disappear from the heart of a devotee, he becomes more attached to the service of the Lord, and by such attachment he becomes free from material contamination. In that state of life, he can understand the Supreme Lord. This is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam also. After liberation, the process of bhakti or transcendental service is continuous. The Vedanta Sutra 4.1.12 confirms this. Na ya prayat chitta disham. This means that after liberation, the process of devotional service continues. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, real devotional liberation is defined as a re-establishment of the living entity in his own identity, his own constitutional position. The constitutional position is already explained. Every living entity is part and parcel, fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, his constitutional position is to serve. After liberation, this service is never stopped. Actual liberation is getting free from the misconception of life. So we can see actually this bell you can just tie it up, People are ringing it. Yeah, that's it, somehow. Yes, but Hare Krishna. So we can see how even in the conditioned state in the material world, people are very active. So what to say when they're in the proper stage of life? Unfortunately, people are affected with the Mayavad philosophy, where they want to become zero or become nothing. But the living entity can never become zero, because he has sentient beings. He got feelings. So like Prabhupada says in purport, like a fish in the Mayavad is giving an example of merging into the water. But in the water there is aquatic, individuality is there. So as living entities, we have individuality and we have a relationship with Krishna as a person. But unfortunately, the contamination of the material world is so heavy that affected by the three modes of nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, that that people can't accept Krishna as a person. So the only way where one destiny can change to come to the spiritual platform is if one contacts an advanced devotee. So an example of that was there was one, when the Juhu temple was being built in Bombay, there was one Chinmayananda Swami, and he was a Mayavadi, and he was denying Krishna as a person. So Srila Prabhupada stayed in a house of a life member where his son was going to that Chinmaya mission. So he was getting arguments from this Chinmaya Swami and bringing him back to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada defeated all his arguments. Last Prabhupada told him that, can he read everyone's mind? Ask him, can he read your mind? And he admitted, I can't read people's minds. So then that devotee, he said, then I'll go to Srila Prabhupada. So, but it took him, after all that, see this contamination of the impersonalist philosophy is so strong. He said it took him like 10 to 15 years to get connected to ISKCON again. It took him that long to come to the path. So, even Lord Chaitanya, he said, listening to the Mayavad philosophy can take one away from Krishna consciousness, because contamination is very strong, where the living entity, he feels that he is equal to Krishna. So so as practicing devotees, we have to read the books of the authorized acharyas. Like Srila Prabhupada, he's giving the writings in his purports how we can come to this stage of bhakti very quickly. Prabhupada says in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says, you can do it in 1 second or you can take millions of lifetimes. It's how much are we ready to accept the process given? Unfortunately, this material world, is a place of cheaters and the cheated. So there's always people who don't want to follow the line of the purity, and because of that, the material world, people get sidetracked to other people who are not following. But example is given, just like wherever there is light, there is darkness. So the material world is like that. It's a place of darkness. But there's always light. So the truth is always there. But how much are we willing to follow the truth? So so in order to come to this point of following the truth, one has to understand Krishna in truth. So there's two kinds of truth. There's relative truth and absolute truth. So relative truth changes at all times. What may be truth in your eyes may not be truth in another person's eyes. Like someone may think it's okay to eat animals, but another person may feel it's not okay to eat animals. So that's relative truth. For that person, he may think he's enjoying, but he's not really enjoying. So that's relative. Enjoyment is relative. Like Prabhupada gave the example, he said, people like surfing. But he said, in the next life, they'll become fish because they're enjoying the water too much. So why take all the trouble of putting the gear on to surf? Just become a fish. That's the karma. So Prabhupada says they're surfing, but they're suffering because they're causing suffering in the next life. So karma is very intricate like that. So people are trying to enjoy many different ways to get happiness. But the happiness of this world is relative. It's all temporary. Nothing is permanent here. Because on the higher platform, from looking from a spiritual perspective, we are not the body. Even our bodies is changing every 7 years. So if you really look into this understanding, if you say you're the body, but your body is changing every 7 years, so how can you say you're the body? The soul never changes, but the body changes. So if we can accept just this little understanding how we are not the body, then our spiritual life begins. As soon as we identify with the body, then ignorance takes over. Because the body is covered by modes of nature. So, and because we listen to modern leaders, they're affected by the mode of passion, ignorance. So they misguide us. So we have to listen to the self-realized teachers. Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai. We have to listen to the self-realized teachers because they're giving the proper knowledge on how to connect to Krishna. Example is given, just like in order to survive in this world, people have heroes, right? Without heroes, people cannot survive, They have to have heroes to look up to. But the heroes of this world, they die in time, they disappear. But the real heroes are the acharyas. The pictures on the wall, you see the pictures? Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Gokul Babaji Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta, the acharyas which are giving us real teachings to connect to Krishna. So they are the real heroes. If we follow them, then we'll become pure. We'll gain purity. It's not like we can imitate their level of purity, but we'll come to the pure platform where we can practice Krishna consciousness, to the pure platform, and by their mercy we'll come to the higher stage where we can connect to Krishna. So, Krishna wants us to come out of this place of suffering. He doesn't want us to suffer. Example can be given, just like if something happens to your finger, your body will feel the suffering. So our connection to Krishna is like that. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So when we suffer, Krishna also feels our suffering. But at the same time, Krishna understands what we have to go through is for our benefit. So then he allows the laws of nature to act the way they're acting. So Lord Chaitanya, he simplified this process of Krishna consciousness in a very nice way. He emphasized chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He says the holy name is not different from Krishna. And if you chant this holy name, this is the Maha Mantra. All other mantras are within this Maha Mantra. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur comments in the Chaitanya Bhagavad, he says, for someone to chant the Maha Mantra, it takes hundreds of lifetimes. In other words, they must be chanting different mantras in between to come to the stage of chanting Maha Mantra. So it's not a cheap thing. But Lord Chaitanya is giving it to everybody. But the acharyas, they elaborate on these things to show us how not everyone will take to this path. Example can be given, just like if you have pure gold. If you want to buy pure gold, you have to pay the price. So Krishna consciousness is like pure gold. And but if you get imitation gold, many people will pay the money, they'll take it. So to get Krishna consciousness, you have to pay the price of austerity. So the austerity we have to do in this age is not so much compared to other ages. In other ages, people used to go to the cold water in the neck and they used to meditate. They used to, in the hot sun, put a fire, go in the middle, put a fire around them. These are the different kinds of austerities people do to get pure. But Lord Chaitanya is giving very simple austerity, chant Hare Krishna and serve the Vaishnavas. So, there was one pastime with Lord Chaitanya in the Chaitanya Bhagavad. There was one Brahman. He was just living on milk. And Lord Chaitanya used to do his 24-hour kirtans inside Shiva's Sangam, which is in Mayapur, where Shiva's Thakur's house. And those who are not pure, they couldn't enter the house. So the Brahmana was there. He was just taking milk, and he was begging Shiva's Thakur, please allow me to see this kirtan of Lord Chaitanya. I'm a Brahman, I just take milk. I live a pure life. So Shiva's Thakur said, okay, normally I don't allow anyone, but I'll allow you, but you have to hide yourself. So he's hiding behind a curtain or something. He's watching the kirtan. But Lord Chaitanya wasn't feeling the ecstasy. He said, something is wrong here. I don't feel the ecstasy. Okay, he's in everyone's heart. So then Shiva's Thakur spoke out. He said, there's this Brahmana who only takes milk. He lives a pure life. The Lord Chaitanya, he spoke out very heavily. He said, you think simply by taking milk you can achieve me? throw him out. Apparently he was an impersonalist. So Srivas Thakur threw him out. And as he was leaving, Lord Chaitanya called him back. Because Lord Chaitanya knew that he had a change of heart. He was repenting. He thought, I saw this kirtan of Lord Chaitanya, which I normally would not see. And Lord Chaitanya directly chastised me. And I got correction for my benefit. So when he came back, Lord Chaitanya told him, Lord Chaitanya told him that don't be proud of your austerities. Because sometimes doing austerities, one can become proud of that. So, there was another instance where one person had leprosy. Vasudev Dutt, he had leprosy. And Lord Chaitanya came and embraced him, so his leprosy disappeared. In those times, you couldn't cure leprosy, you had to be in isolation. But Lord Chaitanya came and embraced him, his leprosy disappeared. He had a nice, beautiful body. And Vasudev Dutt was telling Lord Chaitanya, now I'll become proud of my body, what to do? Lord Chaitanya told him, if you chant Hare Krishna all the time, pride will not affect you. So these are the things which help you in anything in line of devotional service. You become pure. You understand your relationship with Krishna. And it says in the spiritual world, the women have beautiful bodies more than the heavenly planets. But they're not affected by passion like in this material world. The attraction to glorifying Krishna is so high that even when they see their husbands, they don't get affected by passion. So this is to show how by coming to understand Krishna, we become disinfected from the material world. Example can be given just like when you fry chickpea, or you fry some plant, the seed, it won't grow because it's fried. So in the same way, whatever desires we have due to being conditioned in the material world from many lifetimes, millions of lifetimes, so many impurities come out. If we focus on Krishna, impurities will get purified. And our attachment to Krishna will become strong. So this is the and this Krishna consciousness is for everybody. Bhaktivedanta Thakur explained, he said, it's for the rich, it's for the poor, it's for the blind, it's for the lame, it's for the strong, it's for everybody. It's for the women, it's for the children, it's for everybody. But he made a point, only the duplicious cannot take to it. So this is the but unfortunately in the material world, people are happy to be in their suffering condition. Prabhupada gave an example in teaching Queen Kunti. He said, all of us in the material world, we are like lost children living on the street. We left our rich father and we prefer to suffer on the street. But if we realize how great our Father is, then our suffering will disappear. So there was one devotee, he was going to the Soho Street temple. In the morning, he used to go for the Mangalarti. Sometimes he used to be late for Mangalarti, he used to miss Mangalarti. So devotees were trying to get him to come for Mangalarti, but he became so disturbed, he started to live on the street. And then devotee said, okay, you don't have to come for Mangalarti, you can come later on, no problem. But still he wouldn't come. He decided to live on the street. Then he somehow he overdrugged himself and he left his body. So you can see how Prabhupada's statements are very accurate to show how people have this stubborn nature that they're not willing to let go of to take to this path of purity of Krishna consciousness. And the teachings are very easy to understand. It's not something you have to do lifetimes of austerity. It's all black and white. You just have to read the writings and take to the path. This Krishna consciousness is not a religious process. It's a cultural movement to re-spiritualize human society, to bring them to loving God, loving Krishna. So when Prabhupada started this movement, someone suggested, why don't you name it God consciousness? Prabhupada said, no, if I give it God consciousness, they'll bring many gods in. Krishna is accurate, because no one is equal to or higher than Krishna. Any questions or comments? You mean Brahma, the creator, or yeah, so Brahman refers to Krishna, Param Brahman. Like that. So the example Prabhupada gave in teaching Kunti, he said, if you ask the inhabitants of the sun planet to come and live in the sunshine, would they do it? They won't agree. So Krishna's got different aspects to him. He's got the Brahman, which is energy. The sun planet is like the sun, the Paramatma, and sun god is Krishna himself, full of 6 opulences: wealth, strength, beauty, knowledge, renunciation, and fame. So if we connect to Krishna, then everything becomes revealed. He said if we can just accept that Krishna is the source of the material and spiritual worlds, and we engage in his service, immediately we come to the level of bhava, which is stays next to Krishna Prem. But for doing that, you have to be serious. Unless you're a serious practitioner and a deep thinker, you can't do it. People are generally caught up in emotions in the material world, and that happens because of bad association. So Prabhupada said, people want to go for society, family, friendship and love. But Prabhupada said, this will not make you happy. Chanting 16 rounds and following 4 principles will make you happy. So this is the way you approach it. Line up the acharyas. They're giving the way to us. Because in Kali Yuga, people don't live very long. Lifespan is very short. So Lord Chaitanya came specifically in Kali Yuga to give mercy. Because he is known as Patita Pavan, Savior of the most fallen. In Satya Yuga, people are proud. They want to do big austerities in the Himalayas and do yoga and tapasya and these things. In Treta Yuga, people want to do big sacrifices. In Dwapara Yuga, people want to do deity worship. But in other yugas, lifespan is very long. Dwapara Yuga, people live for 1,000 years. In Treta Yuga, people live for 10,000 years. In Satya Yuga, they live for 100,000 years. In Kali Yuga, the maximum life is 100 years. But the way things are going in the world now, you could say the maximum life is 60 to 80 years. So life is very short. So this is why Kali Yuga is glorified, because in this short lifespan you can go back to Godhead very quick, which you could not do in other yugas. You see? In Srila Prabhupada's time, not all the books were out. He was writing the books and tapes were coming out slowly, cassettes. When they used to come out, devotees used to gather around in groups to listen to the lectures and read the books in groups. But now everything is out. It's not like when Prabhupada was present. They had to consult him, and he was very busy writing the books, traveling. But now things are very easy. Everything's out. Just have to read the books. Devotees are there to answer the questions. You take to the process. But the other side is there, where the test is coming in, where modern technology is coming. So people are sidetracked. But if you just, everything is very easy if you just read the books, discuss it with devotees, take to chanting. That's the way. Any other questions or comments? Antara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.